Hello friends, Tom Downey here for NFL Daily, taking you through all the latest Minnesota Vikings rumors. We start things off with, is Anthony Barr holding out from Minnesota? Look, I'm giving this one 4 Goodell heads. We'll explain what that means here in just a second for all you guys watching the show for the first time. Anthony Barr has not reported to OTAs for the Minnesota Vikings, which is curious because he's in the last year of his contract with Minnesota. And oh, by the way, it wasn't that long ago that Barr, alongside some other Vikings teammates, was at Mike Zimmer's youth camp helping out his head coach. And now all of a sudden he's not there. This screams holdout. Now, it's not a malicious holdout. There's nothing to be overly concerned about if you're a Minnesota fan. This is just Anthony Barr, kind of like what Zach Martin is doing with the Cowboys and other players are doing, reminding his staff, hey, can I get a new deal here? Because he just saw his buddy Eric Kendricks get a 5-year, $50 million deal not that long ago, back in April. So yeah, Barr's holding out, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be a long-term holdout, a malicious or a bad blood type holdout. He's just reminding the Vikings front office, hey, don't forget about me. I want to get paid. Also has to get paid Daniel Hunter and also Stefon Diggs. But Diggs, though, taking a different approach to his contract. Is he not concerned about it? 3 heads on this one does seem pretty likely. Diggs has said, keeping in mind that he saw other guys get paid, Watkins and others, he's happy for those guys, but Diggs just wants to come in, get things done. Quote, I want my resume to speak for itself, and it will figure itself out. But with that in mind, look, Diggs is aware of the contract signed by other receivers. Landry's getting a massive amount of money. Sammy Watkins, Allen Robinson, Mike Evans is now the highest paid receiver based on a per-year deal. And Dante Moncrief, of all people, is getting nearly $10 million. Look, here's the deal with Stefon Diggs. He going to get paid this offseason in a big, big way. So I do want to know from you guys how much Diggs should get paid by Minnesota. I think if you're the Vikings, give him $10 million or $15 million, around that range is about what Robinson got, a little bit more. And in reality, those guys we just discussed, Watkins, Landry, and so on, maybe outside of Mike Evans, I think Diggs has a real argument to being better than all of those guys. So keep an eye on Diggs. He's showing up for OTAs. He's not concerned. But in the back of his mind, I think he's definitely aware of it and thinking about it at least a little bit. That's why it's 3 heads, not quite the full 4. Next up, is Kendall Wright to blame for Terrance Williams' car crash? This one's fake news, and one of the stranger stories you'll see all offseason. Wright was accused of drunkenly crashing Williams' car when Terrance Williams was speaking to police after he was found by police riding around his little motorized bike/scooter after he face-planted by going up over it. Williams in a statement didn't mention Wright, but then the video came out and it was all like, what is going on here? The good news is T-Wheel's agent and Wright said, hey, don't worry. Wright was not involved, but a very strange story nonetheless involving Wright and Terrance Williams. In the end, nothing to be concerned about for Kendall Wright. He was not involved at all. If it's your first time joining the show, here's what the Goodell heads mean. 0 heads, it's fake news, don't buy it. 1 head, a small shred of truth. It could come true, but don't get your hopes up. 2 heads means people are talking. It is firmly in that rumor category. 3 heads means more probable than not quite set in stone, but it does seem pretty likely. And 4 heads, it's fact news. Believe it, baby. On to number 4. Is Mike Remmers going to be your right tackle? This one is not set in stone, but I'm going to give it 3 heads. In OTAs early on for Minnesota, it was Remmers that was working with the first team. Now, Mike Zimmer did say it was in part due to Rashad Hill being hurt, but I think Remmers is a better player at right tackle for Minnesota anyway. There has been some buzz or the Remmers could move inside to guard, but I still think that Mike Remmers is the Vikings' best option at right tackle for Minnesota. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree. Remmers getting paid quite a bit of money. I think he's a good fit at right tackle. And then when you look at what the Vikings have going on at right tackle on their depth chart overall, or even just tackle in general, I think they're a little bit thin up front overall. I like Riley over there at left tackle. Remmers could play guard, but that means you're putting in Rashad Hill or Brian O'Neill. Now, I know the Vikings spending a second-round pick on O'Neill, but he's very raw. My big fear, Minnesota fans, if you put O'Neill in right away, you're going to get some shades of TJ Clemmings, a raw athletic tackle who's just not ready yet. So I think put Remmers at right tackle, they're at the guard spot after that. And speaking of guard, is Tom Compton going to be the guy at right guard? 2 heads on this one, firmly in that rumor category, and it's going to be a battle worth watching. Now, Pat Elflein has been held out of OTAs early on coming back from his injury, so Nick Easton slides over to center, and then Danny Isidore goes at left guard, but Compton goes at right guard. That tells me that as of right now, Compton is the frontrunner to be your right guard in Minnesota, because if Isidore was the frontrunner, he'd be at right guard, not left guard. Now, Danny, I think, will compete for that role with Compton. Maybe you see someone like a Colby Gossett at Appalachian State get involved there, but Nick Easton will be one guard, assuming Elflein comes back and handles the center role. Compton and Danny, maybe Colby can compete for the other spot, but it's going to be a wide open battle. I like Danny quite a bit coming out of Miami and Florida last year. I believe it was a 5th round pick. Has some upside. Overall, I wouldn't mind a veteran guard if I was Minnesota. Jahari Evans is available. Wouldn't mind picking him up, but Minnesota seems to want to go with the guys that they currently have. Maybe some good news here, Vikings fans. Is Dalvin Cook back for OTAs? I'll give it 3 heads. It's kind of true, but it's also totally not true. So Cook, of course, tore his ACL in Week 4 last year. Was really good when he was playing. Loved what I saw out of him. Total steal in round 2 for Minnesota. Now, Zimmer has said he might get some work in OTAs near the end, and Cook is kind of sort of back right now for the Vikings. He's been working on the side right now. Individual drills, ran some routes, but wasn't involved in 11-on-11s. So he's kind of back, but he's not truly back with the team doing 11-on-11s, fully back on the OTA side of things. I think he could be back by the end of the year, but as of right now, or by the end of OTAs or even camp at the worst, he'll be back for Week 1. I loved what I saw out of Dalvin Cook. A lot of great promise there. He'll be the #1 back when he comes back. So I think he'll be back for OTAs, and he kind of sort of is, but not quite at the full capacity. I know you guys want to see him out there. All right, folks, that does it for us. Give me a follow on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney for all your NFL coverage, and subscribe to the channel for more Vikings and NFL news throughout the offseason and the regular season.